by the former Secretary of State and Fox News contributor Jayhawk himself, Mike Pompeo. Great to see you, sir. Whenever I see Trey doing his reports about what happened on October 7th, I am curious about the security failures. I am also curious about whether or not the ceasefire will hold. What's your assessment at this hour?
It's great to be with you. It's absolutely necessary that the Israelis do a full investigation of what happened. I don't know much about what's the right forum, what's the right commission, but they need to understand what went wrong, how they ended up with 1,000+ Israelis killed and hostages held for so long. And then the Israeli people should be permitted to know precisely that failure, and then accountability will follow from that. I'm confident the Israeli system of democracy there in Israel will deliver that. Second, you can see already how fraught it is. Hamas is not going to go away quietly. They're not going to just wander off the stage. They are going to continue what they do. They are a resistance movement. You see it in the north with the other Iranian proxy on the Israeli border, Hezbollah. Hamas will continue to try and rearm and re-equip. And the world, led by the United States, needs to do everything it can to support Israel's efforts to maintain its own security and crush Hamas and make sure that it never again can do what it did on that October 7th.
Here's the thing, though, Mr. Secretary. Let's say that we somehow put Hamas in a bit of a box, all right, just a bit, hypothetical here. How does Gaza recover? I see the pictures. You've seen the pictures. You've been there. It is beyond anything that I can imagine, and yet I'm hopeful for the people, and I'm hopeful that the global community can come together and maybe somehow make a difference. Are you as bullish on that or bearish?
It's a very difficult problem, and you asked the right question. We'll take an enormous amount of money and a long period of time. The enabling feature, the thing that has to happen, is there has to be a governance model delivered there. That is a leadership team in Gaza in charge and responsible for taking care of its own people. That is not a terrorist organization. It is not connected to Iran, nor is it funded by Iran. And the United Nations, the UNRWA folks that for so long allowed the terrorists to take control of the food aid that went in, is nowhere near control either. If you can get that, if you can get a security operation in there, which I know Mr. Kushner, Mr. Witkoff are working diligently to do, if you can get them on the ground, you can establish some coherent political leadership in Gaza, not a small feat in its own right. But if you can do those two things, you can enable a process that can ultimately allow the people of Gaza to live with the human dignity that, Kevin, you and I think everyone is praying for.
Very well said indeed. Let me ask you about Israel and the Saudis. The president has been promoting the idea that maybe there's something in the works that the two sides can maybe help solve some of the issues. What are you hearing about that?
Look, the Crown Prince, the leader in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is going to be in Washington, D.C. this week, Mohammed bin Salman. He is trying to lead that region to security and stability and his own nation to modernity. The Saudis can play an important role there in Gaza. They can play an important role in Syria with a new leader in Syria. And that will all prove to be important. And then ultimately, I'm convinced that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia can find a path to recognize Israel's right to exist, join the Abraham Accords or some version thereof, and you can begin to build out a real model that counters Tehran and builds a peaceful and prosperous Middle East. It's always arduous and difficult. There'll be steps forward and steps backward, but I'm convinced there's real hope that that can be achieved, and I think Mohammed bin Salman, the leader of Kingdom Saudi Arabia, can be a central part of that.
Listen, if MBS and the Saudis join the Abraham Accords, you may as well just deliver the Nobel to President Trump's house at that point. It probably is going there anyway. I mean, that is just crazy. Real quick, I understand you had a chance to speak at a conference about Iran. Want to tell us about that? Because the Iranian people are absolutely incredible. And I keep feeling like going back to 1979, if there was some way to remove the shackles from the people, it's just an incredible country, and we can only hope for the best for their people. Tell me about your attendance at that conference and how that went.
You've got it exactly right. I was with several hundred folks who have family, friends that are inside of Iran, and I was speaking directly to the people that are in Iran, telling them that the world is with them, that we want good things for them too, and that we realize that this regime, the Ayatollah, that theocracy, that oppressive regime, will never deliver that. And so I was trying to offer both encouragement and remind the world of our obligation to make sure that the Iranian people have the chance to live a better life. And when this regime is changed is different from the one that's there today. And President Trump's Operation Midnight Hammer, I think, made that more likely for sure. When we get to the right place, the Iranian people will build an amazing place, one that is free from theocracy and oppression, and that'll be a really good thing for the region and for the United States of America, Kevin.
It really, really would. I keep wanting to just say there is a better way, and if somehow, some way, we can get that to the people, it would, I think, be transformational, quite frankly, for the region and for the entire globe. Always great to see you, and you know, I let you slide this time. I didn't ask you if you were going to run for president, so I get extra points for that. The former Secretary of State.
All for another day, sir. Have a great Sunday,
yes,
Kevin.
Yes, indeed. Have a great weekend.